The Wall Street Journal, which we all know is a very conservative newspaper, reached out to Wisdom Publications and requested to publish an excerpt from Approaching the Buddhist Path that His Holiness and I co-authored. And so they published it on July 7th, in the Wall Street Journal. And so I thought to read it to you and make some comments on it, okay, as I did, because it made me, even though I'm quite familiar with this material, it made me think again. Yeah. Okay. So it says, once people adopt a religion, they should practice it sincerely. Wow. Yeah. Actually, this is one of the people make comments to articles. And so several people had commented that they think one of the problems in the world now is that people don't practice their religion sincerely, and instead they twist it for political means or for power means. And so that certainly is the truth. But His Holiness is saying we should practice it sincerely. Truly believing in God, Buddha, Allah, or Shiva should inspire one to be an honest human being. Some people claim to have faith in their religion, but act counter to its ethical injunctions. They pray for the success of their dishonest and corrupt actions, asking God or Buddha or whoever for help in covering up their wrongdoings. There is no point in such people describing themselves as religious. Sakatuam. Yeah, this is, really it. And this points to the whole thing of being very honest and sincere in our practice and not using it for ego attainments and so on. Yeah, and personally, I think this is one of the big problems that we have is religion being distorted. So it could be in terms of, for example, ISIS, people taking parts of the Quran out, distorting it, and making it into a political movement that justifies killing others. What was interesting, I was reading the comments, and I was really rather shocked at how many people see Islam that way, and really believe that it teaches this kind of thing instead of seeing it as a distortion by this particular group of the fundamental principles of Islam. Okay, I think it also, this kind of corruption comes with the religious right in America now. Yeah, because you brought it up a few days ago, but I've thought a lot about this in terms of wanting to legislate, against abortion. I also personally, don't favor abortion, but if you legislate, and I don't think we should legislate anyway, if you legislate against abortion, then you should also advocate for food stamps, good education, health care for the mother, health care for the child, yeah, better gun laws to protect the children. Yeah, but what I see happening is the religious right not thinking so clearly, so that their political policies make sense. Yeah, and that makes me rather sad, and I'm quite happy to see that some ministers and clergy are now saying something about that. Yeah, that if you want to really live according to Jesus's principles, then, helping the poor, helping the sick, this is quite imperative. Okay, that's my commentary. Today, the world faces a crisis related to lack of respect for spiritual principles and ethical values. Such virtues cannot be forced on society by legislation or by science, nor can fear inspire ethical conduct. Rather, people must have conviction in the worth of ethical principles so that they want to live ethically. Okay? So, this is another point that a couple of people in the comments section, responded to, saying, "Who will teach the next generation ethical conduct?" Because it seems that, well, the schools don't do it, and it seems that religion isn't doing such a good job of it. Religion's going off in sometimes very other directions, that's not helping the young learn basic ethical values. And His Holiness is completely right here. We can't legislate ethical values. Science can't force them on people. Yeah, people instead have to see from their own experience the disadvantages of living unethically and the benefits of living ethically. And it has to come from our own experience and our own reflection and not out of fear. And unfortunately, I think, you know, that's one thing that's very popular in our cultures and in many cultures is using fear to enforce ethics. Yeah, and it doesn't work. It's anytime you use fear, you may get people to go along with something temporarily, but in the end, they're not going to. Yeah, because it's not based on wisdom, it's based on fear of punishment. Okay. In the US and India, for example, both have solid governmental institutions. These are the world's two biggest democracies. Yeah. But many of the people involved lack ethical principles. Yeah. Self-discipline and self-restraint of all citizens, from CEOs to lawmakers to teachers, are needed to create a good society. His Holiness said this many years ago. Yeah. But these virtues cannot be imposed from the outside. They require inner cultivation. Cultivation. This is why spirituality and religion are relevant in the modern world. So this is a big case for the relevancy of religion and spirituality. Yeah, is that, if religion and spirituality can explain things using reason so that people see the benefit of ethical conduct, then they will automatically realign their behavior, in line with their ethical principles. Yeah. And that's what we need. And if we look, this is the source of so many problems in so many countries. Yeah, is that the leaders, not only the politicians, the people on Wall Street, this was published in the Wall Street Journal, and, the people in so many fields are not behaving ethically for the benefit of the country or a larger group. They're just looking out for their own self, either in terms of seeking wealth or seeking power, which in the end of the day doesn't really satisfy them inside, because when you die, you can't take your wealth and power with you. Yeah. So if they were to see that, yeah, and think about the long-term effects on themselves and others, they might realign their values. Yeah. India, where I now live, has been home to the ideas of secularism, inclusiveness, and diversity for some 3,000 years. One philosophical tradition asserts that only what we know through our five senses exists. Yeah, we study about this. The Travakas are materialists or hedonists, okay? Other Indian philosophical schools criticize this nihilistic view, but still regard the people who hold it as rishis or sages. I promote this type of secularism, to be a kind person who does not harm others, regardless of profound religious differences. Yeah. And this is basically true in India, that the people do respect people of other religious traditions. The thing that is dangerous that has happened in maybe the last 2 decades is the rise of the BHP, the Hindu nationalist policy, of which Modi is a member of, that is promoting this view of Hindu nationalism, and that's created a lot of the conflict that exists in India that is continuing now with a lot of persecution against Muslims. Yeah. So, His Holiness, when he's in India in groups, he always emphasizes this kind of like, Modi, kind of pay attention here. Yeah, because you look at Gandhiji's, uh, message, which Modi often quotes, is, this kind of secularism that respects all the traditions. Okay, I'm thinking maybe this is a good place to stop for today, and then we'll continue on Monday. Who knows? This may turn into two, well, it will be two, maybe even three. Yeah, because there's a lot to say. But one comment I do want to make is that it's very interesting to read the comments that people make on this article. Very few of the comments actually are on what His Holiness said. It's amazing to me. People will pick out one thing. There's raging debates as comments on this about Christianity, you know, is Islam fundamentalism, science proving that God created the world, but actually very little comments on actually what His Holiness is saying here. Yeah, which is quite interesting to me. Yeah, a few comments. It was good. This morning I opened it. There's over 200 comments on the article. Yeah, but at least the first two I read this morning were actually on what His Holiness said and showing appreciation. But then other comments, I mean, they're just all over the place. Yeah.